we are underway here at Pat Cunningham Stadium on the campus of Woodson High School. Matt Fetters along with Pete Bendorf, Jake DeArmond will be joining us. Cliff Cradle down on the sideline. Division 6 Northern Region Championship, and I said we are underway with Centreville Wildcats with the first possession of the game on 2nd and 9, straight ahead, gain of just about a couple.
See that outstanding Lake Braddock defense. Their quickness is probably one of their main strengths. 2 short running plays by Centreville to start the game here, and brings up a 3rd and about 8 for the Wildcats, who run out of a very tight, unbalanced formation.
Wildcats to throw on 3rd and about 8, picked off by the Bruins. Down inside the 10, is he in for the touchdown? Yes, touchdown, Lake Braddock Bruins.
Certainly what Centreville did not want to get into, a 3rd and long situation. They love to run the football. Nice reaction by Mr. Mark Malone for the Lake Braddock Bruins. Picks the pass off and runs some 32 yards for a touchdown to give the Bruins an early lead, 6-0. 1 minute into the ball game.
10:57 to play in this first quarter, and the Bruins strike first on the INT return for the touchdown. Now on for the point after attempt, and there is a flag down.
Certainly for Lake Braddock, a big break, an interception, a nice return. Took advantage of the good field position they got from the early kickoff, as they had won the toss and deferred the choice till the second half, and it worked out great for them, scoring on a defensive touchdown right in the first minute of the ball game.
And if you're Centreville, while you're already going to be down pretty much 7-0 early on, you're going to get the ball back and you're going to get another crack at it.
Right. It's way too early to change anything that you had planned on doing in the game.
Kick is up and it is good. So with 10:57 to play in the first quarter, it's the Lake Braddock Bruins 7, the Centreville Wildcats 0, and even bigger news is we have video up here in the press box.
All right. Yeah, interesting matchup here. The two teams met the first game of the season. Lake Braddock, who's won 11 straight ball games, won that early meeting 15-12 with a touchdown inside a minute to win that first game. Since then, both teams have played very, very well and advanced to today's regional championship game. It's nice to be back at Woodson High School for the regional championship game.
A windy day here at Woodson High School. Not a great day for gravity, as wind pretty much blowing straight across the field. A little bit of an angle coming from your right to left on your television screen.
Steve Finnerman set to kick off for the Bruins again. So you really haven't missed anything except one interception for a touchdown.
Finner high end over end kick taken down at about the 15 and rolls out of bounds.
Centreville will have a couple of choices here. I imagine they'll take the ball on the 35-yard line. They can have Lake Braddock kick it again, or take the ball where it went out of bounds. Obviously, you're not going to do that because that would be the 15-yard line. Looks like they are going to, no, they're going to take the ball at the 35-yard line. You'll see Centreville operate out of a unbalanced double tight formation with an offset backfield. Some people call it the Notre Dame I. It's just almost an inverted power I.
So Centreville starts out 1st and 10 from their own 35, running the ball straight ahead, a gain of about 2 on the play.
It's a staple in their offense, running behind that big offensive line led by Carl Dorr, a 2-time All-Concord District, All-Region selection.
Gain of 3, make it 2nd and 7 now for the Wildcats. Trying to go around the right side. Up across the 40, all the way up to about the 43.
Just a quick pitch there to Mr. Williams for Centreville. He's the Offensive Player of the Year in the Concord District and rushed for 280 yards last week against the Fairfax Rebels.
3rd and about 2 now for the Wildcats. Jump offside on that far side, flags fly.
Yeah, Mike Williams, look for Mike Williams to get the ball some 25 to 30 times for Centreville. That's what they want to do. Again, the penalty here puts Centreville in a position they don't want to be in, which is where they threw the interception, a 3rd and 8 situation.
If Sam McElroy, number 12, quarterback for Centreville, is a little more judicious with where he throws that ball in this down. They go around the left side, up across the 40 to about the 42. Well short of the first down.
Brad Evans, from his outside linebacker spot for Lake Braddock, was not fooled on the counter play. A big play for Centreville all year. They do love to run the counter in long yardage situations. Brings up a punting situation for the Wildcats.
4th and 5.
Couple of outstanding punters here. Chris Hall for the Wildcats is an outstanding punter for Centreville. Kicking into a tough wind today, though.
Coming across to his right side, nice spiral high kick. Bruins let it bounce inside the 20. Decide to pick it up. Gain of about 2.
John Rowe picking it up for the Lake Braddock Bruins. You saw Rob Lane, number 99 for Centreville, down on the tackle. You guarantee we'll call his name quite a bit. Defensive Player of the Year in the Concord District. One of another long line of outstanding linebackers for the Centreville Wildcats.
So now we get to see the Lake Braddock Bruin offense now. First possession of the ball game out at their own 18-yard line with 9:06 to play here in the first period, up 7-0. A little confusion, but they still break it up across, enough for a first down.
Big run there by Ryan Neff. It picks up about 11. Ryan was unable to play in the regional semifinals games, nursing a ankle and knee injury. He's been a tremendous player for the Lake Braddock Bruins over the last 3 years, a 3-year starter. Ryan's rushed for some 1,200 yards this year and just is an outstanding back. Expect him to see him quite a bit.
So Neff's run enough for a first down. Now make it 1st and 10 at the 29 for the Bruins. Here they come again over the left side. Up across the 40 to the 45, just close to the 46.
Great job by that Lake Braddock offensive line. Just man blocking, getting on people. They zone it up there. They'll create a seam for Ryan Neff, who does an outstanding job. That couple of those linemen up there, number 51 for Lake Braddock, Chris Rourke, plays left tackle. Steve Finneran, who kicks also, is left guard. Jeremy Billick is the center, number 61.
Nothing but first downs here for the Bruins in their first possession of the ball game.
Looks like Will Montgomery on the stop, the center of that Centreville line. That's Mike Uffin, the fullback, who filled in quite well for the injured Ryan Neff last week. Has been a pleasant surprise for the Lake Braddock Bruins.
Loss of about half a yard for the Bruins, make it 2nd and about 10.5. Two receivers way up to the left, one down to the right. They air it out, but the Wildcats are there to smother them up quickly and drop them for a loss.
One thing that Centreville's very good at, they have very good man-up corners. That was number 21, who is the younger brother of the fullback, Greg Hamilton. Marcus Hamilton, and just a sophomore, makes an outstanding play. Here you can see he's manned up on the quick screen on the replay there. Makes a great play for a loss of about 4 or 5, bringing up a 3rd and 15 for the Bruins. Both teams are somewhat young at certain positions in the secondary for the Wildcats. They got a lot of young players who are really, really, truly fine athletes.
3rd and a bunch for B.J. Quigley and company. Receivers out to his left. This is Neff across the 50. Down to about the 48-yard line.
Just a quick trap to Ryan Neff right up the middle. Sometimes, in 3rd and long, you think, well, you got to throw the football, but it's as effective as a draw, especially as the defensive linemen are pinning their ears back, coming on a pass rush.
And the Bruins aren't going to waste any time to get this punt away. 4th and about 4. And the Wildcats will let it bounce. Takes a nice Lake Braddock bounce. And it hits that mud patch down there inside the 10, and that stops it inside the 10-yard line. Great punt for the Lake Braddock Bruins.
One of the things that kind of gets overlooked sometimes is the kicking game. And obviously, that punt being downed on the 7-8 yard line there for Lake Braddock, put Centreville in a hole, and it was in a tight ball game last week with Robinson and Lake Braddock. Again, it was Steve Fennerton's punt that was downed on the 1 yard line that allowed a 3-0 ball game, jumped to 10-0 for Lake Braddock as they switched the field position.
Centreville now again from deep in their own territory inside the 10. No gain.
One of the things you're not going to do is fool Carroll Craig's Lake Braddock Bruin defense. They are very well prepared for the ball game. Centreville loves to run a lot of bootlegs, and that was Matt Uffen coming up from his linebacker spot to stop the bootleg.
Loss of a couple on the play, make it 2nd and 12. Williams around the right side, tripped up as he gets up to the 15-yard line.
Again, one of the staples of Centreville's offense. Be patient, run the football, give it to Mike Williams. That big offensive line beating on the front of the Bruins there. He pops through, and John Rowe from his secondary spot came up and made a nice stop. Brings up a 3rd and about 4.
McElroy looks over the swapping defense of the Bruins, and here they come on the left side. Enough for a first down and a little bit more. Crack it up to about the 25-yard line.
Another thing that you're going to see is Centreville wastes very little time in the huddle. They'll try to call a play about every 15 seconds. Doesn't allow you to recover much on defense. They'll be in and out of the huddle all afternoon. Should be a fast-moving game.
Williams run good for a first down. Wildcats 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. 5:05 to play in the first period, down by 7. This is Williams again. Cuts back, gets it up across the 35 to about the 36. Enough for another first down.
You can see why Centreville's been so successful. Again, they'll be in and out of the huddle quite quickly. That was the counterplay to Mike Williams. They're right back up on the line of scrimmage on another first down situation against the Bruins.
Now the Wildcats being able to put together a little drive, but this time the Bruins stiffen and stop them at the line.
Again, it looks like Brad Evans over there, number 44 for the Bruins, and Mark Malone up from his safety position, making a nice play for a no gain on Mike Williams. Obviously, Centreville's offense has to be in great shape to get in and out of the huddle as quickly as they do. There's the replay. Again, you see that quickness.
2nd and 10, gain of about 1 or 2.
Counterplay to Sean Diggs this time, just using Mike Williams as a decoy. Again, going lateral against this Lake Braddock defense is quite a challenge.
We're going to try to bring Jake DeArmond in here now. I'm being told that this microphone is now on. So why don't you take that there, Jake, and talk a little bit, and they'll tell
I feel like Sinatra up here.
I can hear you, so it must be on.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, it's on, baby.
Huh?
Dandy Don is with us.
That's right.
Now my question to the truck is there a way we can plug these headphones in so he might be able to hear himself? On 3rd and long, the pass falls incomplete.
Again, that's the situation that Centreville doesn't want to be in, which is long yardage. They don't like to throw the ball too much. They ran a little switch route here. McElroy throwing it out to number 1, Tony Grossman. Caught up in that wind and just floated out of bounds.
But the question to you is, who does like to throw a whole lot?
T.C.
Williams,
teams, although Lake Braddock is very, very effective throwing the ball. B.J. Quigley has been quite effective, but they only throw it about 12 times a game.
Wildcats kick it away on 4th down. Wind takes it a little bit, bounces inside the 20, roll out of bounds inside the 15. They'll mark it right about the 15.
Again, if you're Centreville, you got to be pretty happy about the exchange there. You started your possession on the 7-yard line, picked up a couple of first downs, and a nice punt by Christensen pins Braddock back on the 15-yard line.
And I think the punter, is it 48? Is it Hall or Christensen?
I'm sorry, it is Hall.
That's all right.
Christensen is their place kicker.
There you go. But they do, Pete, they do play a big game. I mean, Centreville plays a big game of field position. You know, they're not an explosive offense unless Williams breaks one. And the guy Hall has just been a big positive, you know, pinning the teams back like Braddock starting here from their 15.
Quickly on 1st and 10 from their own 15, run straight ahead, gain of maybe 1 or 2.
That's Matt Uffen on a dive play right up the middle. Again, looked like Will Montgomery, number 78 on the tackle for the Wildcats. Limping out of the game there is number 59, who is Jeff Edie, a senior right offensive tackle for the Bruins.
Jeff Eddy, he was limping around a little bit during the pregame. We saw him getting an extra tape job on the sideline.
Yeah, he's got a lower leg problem. Maybe a hip.
2nd and 9 now for the Bruins. Neffs straight ahead, gain of maybe 1.
Again, that's Neff. That's their bread and butter, just a straight handoff up the middle. Number 57, that's Jason Myers, one of the strongest kids in Northern Virginia. If you saw the best of the best in June, as a sophomore, I believe he benched 375 pounds and squatted 575, which is quite impressive.
Felt a little tremor as he was running off the field.
3rd and 7 now for the Bruins. 2:25 to play here in the first period as flags fly.
And sometimes, Pete, they throw a flag. That guy shot one out of his pocket.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to make it known.
He was about 30 feet in the air.
I think Centreville may have lined up offsides, and that's exactly what they did, trying to crowd the line of scrimmage there. 3rd and long situation, probably trying to get their pass rush going.
Not the Wildcats. Pete, have you ever seen a defense that blitzes as much as Centreville does? I mean, they send lane or a linebacker just about every play.
Yeah, actually, last year's Centreville defense probably blitzed a little more, but they do blitz a lot. That's what they believe in, and they've been very, very successful with it.
Try those headsets there, Jake DeArmond. Tell me if you can hear anything in there. Neff on 3rd and short. It's going to be close to the first down.
Great job by the Centreville defensive line. They won't get credit for the tackle on the counter. Cordell Richardson, number 23, closed off the running lane, forcing Neff outside. Number 10, from his corner spot, Joshua Winchester came up, made a nice stop. But the Bruins do pick up a first down.
So, being in the Concord district, how do you attack a defense that blitzes so much as Centreville does?
You have to be patient. I think one of the things that you try to do is not go sideways on them. You got to attack at them, which is not an easy thing to do, and take your chances when you get them, because if you try to go sideways a lot, you could be in trouble.
This is Peter Oak up across midfield, making headway down inside the 40. Finally brought out of bounds inside the 40-yard line.
35-yard run by Peter Oak, kind of the lightning of the thunder and lightning for the Bruin backfield there. 35-yard pickup, and that was number 14, Blake Warren, making the tackle. The fine junior safety. Here it is again, just pops through. Some of what I was talking about. You got to be patient and run right at them and take advantage of their blitzes. Hope you create a seam in there, split them, and you saw Lake Braddock was able to do that.
That's about the longest run I've seen against Centreville in like 3 years.
Yeah, one of the other things that happens, and the reason they blitz so much, is they're very athletic in the secondary and they can recover quickly. Obviously, Peter Oak's got some real nice speed, picked up a 35-yard run. Good timeout by Mike Skinner to settle down his defense. Just make sure that, hey, we're doing all right. We'll stop them. Just be patient.
Bielik and Finnern up front along the Lake Braddock offensive line, springing Oak for a big run here. And certainly with the wind at their back here, Lake Braddock looking real good in the first quarter.
Lake Braddock up 7-0 with 1:27 to play here in the first quarter. We're playing for the Northern Region Championship, Division 6. Thanks for joining us here on High School Sports USA.
See a trips formation for the first time out of Lake Braddock. One back in the backfield.
3 receivers down to the right. This is Oak around the right side, inside down about the 35 where he's pushed out of bounds.
Again, Peter Oak, a 3-year starter. He's just a junior. Started as a freshman for the Bruins. He's had kind of an up and down season, been injured quite a bit, had a banged up knee. See him running sideways, picking up 5. That was Ian Reynolds, an outside linebacker, strong safety for the Wildcats, coming up and making the play.
So when you start somebody as a freshman, Pete, it's because they can run.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
certainly, yeah. I mean, he's obviously has big play capability, and they liked his quickness because, as a 14, 15-year-old, it's tough to play varsity football in Northern Virginia.
Quickly now with 2 receivers out to the left on 2nd and 6. And again, they run the ball up the middle, gain of a couple. There's definitely some muddy patches down there on this field, and that's right where they're operating right now.
All right, just a trap play that Lake Braddock ran there with Matt Uffin carrying the ball. Again, right into the heart of that Centreville defense. A lot of weight training going on down there.
They're tearing up the grass over here at Cunningham Stadium.
Bruins now on 3rd and 5. Quickly, looks like he's making some changes up at the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers way out to his left. Oak straight ahead, a flag thrown.
I'd hate to say it, but I think that flag is obviously in the area of a holding call, especially as many people were up in the box. Interesting check off, and I'm assuming he checked off. Maybe he saw something there, thought he could split them, and yes, we do have a holding call.
How do you hold on a running play?
Well, there's probably holding on every running play, but it's just a matter of getting caught. Probably what happened is he got his hands outside the frame of the defender's body, and that's usually when you get seen. When the hands are inside, you people in Northern Virginia, I'm not telling you how to hold, but if you get your hands out inside the frame of the body, chances are it doesn't get called.
Right there on the bottom was number 57. You can see him, actually, if we switch there, where we go back, the heart of the Centreville defense, Jason Myers. He's like about 5'6" tall. He's about 5'6" wide. Just a big guy. And you know, after playing football, he probably eats a little bit, and then goes into the weight room, right, and lifts for a couple hours.
I think he spends a fair share of his day in the weight room. I can attest to that.
So Pete, what do you, when you like, what do your guys are done for the year? Unfortunately, Pete coaches at Oakton High School, unless we haven't said that. So what are the kids doing now? You know, I mean, naturally, some of the kids are going to go on to play basketball or wrestle, and for the kids who don't play football only, and I don't know how many you have over there at Oakton, what do you do?
One of the things that we really stress is, you know, all sports in Northern Virginia have kind of become a year-round commitment, and I'll touch back onto that if we pick up this third down here, 3rd and 15.
That was quick.
Yeah, it was. Clock hit zeros, and now we're in all of a sudden fresh 12 minutes on the clock, and we're underway here in the second quarter. Little screen out to the right, and a gain of maybe 1 on the play.
That was Chris Hydock. It was again, just a tight end screen there by Braddock, hoping they could get Centreville coming upfield.
Off-season programs.
Yeah, well, the reason that play didn't end the quarter was you can't end the quarter on a penalty, so they had to play one untimed down there for it. Again, off-season, we started right back up. I have a pretty good core of young kids coming back, and I asked them to do 3 things, and this is going to sound a little bit like coach talk, but you know, one of the things I asked them to do, first off, let's make sure we're taking care of our schoolwork, because that's obviously why we're there. The other 2 things that I asked them to do, I said, let's get involved in another sport, because I think competing is vital to them being good athletes. And then the 3rd thing, of course, is the big commitment to the weight room. And we started right back into the weight room the Monday after our last Friday game, which was about November 8th. And I think that's the case most of the places in the region. People, you know, if you're going to be competitive, you've got to spend a lot of time at it.
So do they start lifting? Is it a different program, like when they're in season versus off season?
Yeah, it's certainly more intense. We do a lot of the same lifts. You can't train as hard in season just because of the time commitment practice-wise. You know, right now we're into our off-season phase where we do a lot more intense lifting, you know, heavier weight, instead of a maintenance type program that we'd run in season.
The Bruins will punt the ball away to start the second quarter now. Nice bounce for the Bruins inside the 10-yard line. The Wildcats will start off deep in their own territory.
How effective is Steve Finner playing offensive guard? Now he has to turn around and punt the ball, and he's got 2 punts, both down on the 7 or 8 yard line. Right now, he's my MVP for the Lake Braddock Bruins.
So when we came into we were talking about the football game earlier, we thought that the key to Centreville is going to be McElroy, because I think Braddock's going to have a pretty good time stopping this run. Now he's got the wind at his back. It's got to be a little bit easier to throw the football.
I would agree with you. I will tell you this, that both these teams are not going to panic. You know, you got a Lake Braddock team here who turned the ball over 6 times in 10 regular season games. So they'll be happy to be patient to move the ball a little bit and punt it down in there and wait for their chance when they get field position. And that's a similar way that Mike Skinner plays. He's going to try to win the game with his defense, get a turnover, be patient running the football.
Williams' run picks up 2, make it 2nd and 8 now. Again, they run straight ahead, gain of maybe another yard or 2.
The one interesting thing is the pace this game's going. We might be home watching the Florida State game at 3:30.
No. Michigan State, Penn State. That's what we'll be home watching at 3:30.
Is Virginia Tech a Temple over yet?
Oh, listen to this.
Go Hokies. BCS.
3rd and 7, we'll call it now for the Wildcats. 10:52 remaining in the first half, down by 7. Lots of flags are thrown.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one's going to come back. Greg Hamilton was leaning a little bit early, trying to get that quick break through there, split the defense.
And he did get that quick break all the way up in about the 24-yard line, but it will probably come back.
See that flag laying there on the field.
You pointed out that about the offense at Centreville. It's a little bit, it's unique. You don't see the backs up that close. Reason for that?
Well, I think what they're doing, and they really believe this, they have great confidence in their offensive line. They've got a group of backs there. They really, what they want to do is, and as we've seen so far, is spend very little time in and out of the huddle. They don't adjust much, but it doesn't allow you to recover on defense. Our game against them, it was 6-3 in the third quarter, and the game ended up being a 23-6 game because they just wore us out.
Right, right.
They're just going to pound on you with that big offensive line and those three outstanding running backs. And,
sure. And it's a rhythm thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they get it and go and get it and go and get it and go. It just seems to, steamroll after a while, and they're really tough to slow down once they get going.
After the penalty, make it 3rd and 12 now for the Wildcats. This is Williams around the left side looking for a block up across the 10 where he stopped and dropped.
Again, you don't want to make a mistake if you're Centreville down on your own 5-yard line, so they run the counter play that's been good for them all year. Again, they're willing to be patient, let their defense take over, but Braddock's winning the field position battle at this point.
Hall once again, let's see what he can do with the wind at his back. As you saw on the previous punt, the wind was really blowing down the football. Let's see what we got here.
Kind of coming across the left side of his kick, but he does a nice job getting it up there. Taking it to 45.
Got a wall, picks up a great block, 2 great blocks.
Inside the 45, all the way down to about the 30, inside the 30 to the 28.
Looks like we got a flag. Be interesting if we get a replay on that. Looked like two pretty good blocks by Lake Braddock. Hit one of those low line drive punts that was very returnable.
Yeah, I think he was concentrating on just trying to put as much yardage as he could. Here we go, Pete.
Let's see if we pick up the 2 blocks. Braddock did a nice job setting the wall down here, as you'll see.
4 guys, 3 guys right in front of him right there.
Block right there. Yeah, we're not going to just saw it as it came right through the edge of your screen.
Pow.
It's a big penalty because it's going to cost Braddock. They would have had the ball down on the 30-yard line. Instead, they're going to start on about their own, looks like 41-yard line there.
But getting back to that, I've never seen a formation where the backs are so close. And, naturally that's their own little rhythm. That's what they do.
If you've ever seen Parkview play, they run out of single wing where they direct snap it. Centreville choose not to run that. They snap the ball directly to the quarterback. But it's
similar
to that. It's also the Notre Dame box, which is kind of an inverted power I that they ran back in the 40s.
Neff the ball carry up across the 45 to about the 47. Gain of about 7 on the play. Make it 2nd and 3 now for the Bruins. 9:20 to play in the first half. Bruins up 7-0.
What makes Neff such a successful back? I mean,
people look at him and he's not real flashy, but he is a very strong kid. He's got lightning quick feet. And I will tell you what, after playing against him, he's got all my respect. He's a great back.
Straight ahead go the Bruins. Stuffed right at the line. Gain of maybe 1.
Because look, I guess in the book, you always can't do, I don't think he's a couple 100 pounds. He doesn't look that big.
He's all of 200 pounds.
Really?
He's standing down on the field. And again, he doesn't look that until you stand next to him and you see the thickness in his legs and his torso. He's a well put together young man and has had a great high school career.
It looks like he has great vision. He's always like one of those guys that can find an open space.
He's probably a kid who won't get recruited very heavily, but is very productive.
3rd and 2. This is Neff. Slipping his way across the mud, up across into the territory. Got for a first down about the 46, 47-yard line.
Right there.
He had nothing.
Yeah. Hop, slipping, sliding, bouncing, doing everything he can. Looks like he's going to be a little bit short here of the first down. They're going to measure.
But by all means, he should have been stopped in the backfield. He had nothing to go with. And he faked up to the left and found a little bit of a crease and ran right through the middle.
Play was well defensed by Centreville, and still Neff was able to find a little crease and almost nose the ball up there for a first down.
See as they stretch it out, just short.
First big decision for the Lake Braddock Bruins here. Looks like they're going to go for it.
Fourth and about a foot for the Lake Braddock Bruins.
Critical situation. But I guess when you got Ryan Neff, you're going to give him a chance.
Quickly sends two receivers way out to the right-hand side.
Goes on a long count.
Quickly with the keeper. I don't know that he got it.
Man, I'll tell you what, whenever situations like that happen, I guess it's the linesman who does that, who makes that call. I mean, you got it. Because it looks like when they first, come off the ball, it's oh, he's got it. Then Myers is right there on the middle pushing the whole line back. It's like, no way, maybe you didn't get it.
Right.
So a little pressure on there. I see Dorr right there in the middle. He's the taller of the two kids in the middle of your picture going both ways. After this play, oops, we got a little break here. Centreville kids going both ways versus Braddock kids going both ways.
Well, at this point of the season, they're quite used to it. Early in the season when it's hot, it's difficult to do. But by now, and especially playing for the regional championship, these kids don't want to come off the field. Carl Dorr's been doing it for a couple of years now. This is no sweat for him at this point.
Timeout down the field, 7:44 to play in the first half. Still Lake Braddock up 7-0. A windy day here at the home of the Cavaliers.
We're on hallowed ground up here in this press box. Isn't it it's the Lou Oppenheimer. There you see the Woodson Cavalier flag. And Oppenheimer, I mean, Matt, as long as you and I have been doing these games, Lou's been up there. I think he retired, was it last year or maybe the year before? But the classy folks over here at Woodson High School have named the press box after a guy who spent, 20 years on every Friday night, or at least 5 Friday nights up here announcing Woodson Cavalier football games.
It's great to be back at Woodson. And there's a lot of great memories on this field of regional championship games that have gone, for the last probably 30 years in Northern Virginia. A couple-year hiatus when it was held over at South Lakes, who did a great job the last couple of years running the regional championship. But this is where it should be. This is Northern Region football at its finest at Woodson High School.
I'll tell you what, it's a convenient location, lots of parking, and Centreville's got a few fans over there. They haven't filled up the other side.
Neff straight ahead, stuffed at the line, still churning, gain of maybe 1.
There's big Carl Dorr, your two-way player, holding his ground in there, stopping Neff for about a 2-yard gain. Looks like Braddock has subbed in Peter Oak, who plays both ways. So they got Thunder and Lightning back there for the Bruins. Neff and Oak. Oak split out in the slot. Passing formation.
Quickly with receivers to either side. They snap it right to Neff. This is Oak.
Hopefully we get a replay of that. The ball was actually snapped between Quigley's legs directly to the fullback. They run a little inside handoff to Peter Oak there. Did not fool Centreville though.
Looked like he ran into his own man trying to...
Here you'll see it. Watch, the ball will be snapped directly between Quigley's legs. Right there. Fine. Tell you what, we practicing for Lake Braddock, we tried to do that, and if you're the scout team quarterback, you got to be careful because your center hasn't practiced it. It could
but
be...
that's
jam your fingers.
Francis Dahl football.
Yes, it is.
I mean, like you're saying, he doesn't throw a lot, doesn't take a lot of chances, but working within a guideline, he does a lot of different things.
Just the bootleg pass.
Quickly rolling on 3rd and 9. Got some pressure. He's got the first down and a little bit more inside the 30, all the way down to the 25.
Great little bootleg by B.J. Quigley there, was able to outrun Cardell Richardson. Not many people have been able to do that in Northern Virginia. Cardell, the big defensive end who's headed for Wake Forest next year.
And we saw him gobble up Chantilly out there in the Sully Bowl earlier in the year, but Quigley showed, I think they underestimated his speed.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed there. B.J., just a sophomore, the Patriot District, all-district quarterback.
But he's like in the long line of Francis Dahl quarterbacks. Doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of mistakes. Isn't going to take a lot of chances. A real smart kid. Doesn't turn the football over.
1st and 10 from the 31.
As I
bobbled. And the Wildcats come up with it.
And again, this is what Centreville plays for.
Right.
They'll sit and be patient. It's a 7-0 ball game. They got the ball here on the 35-yard line. Great play by the defense of Centreville, scooping up the errant pitch by B.J. Quigley. But back to what you're saying about B.J. Quigley. Here it is.
Of course, I jinxed him on this play, but this is it's probably the toughest play for a quarterback, if you're a right-handed quarterback, to pitch the ball left on an option.
See Blake Warren up from a safety spot, picking up the fumble.
Eric Phelps coming in to really break it up and cause the fumble. Straight ahead go the Wildcats on 1st and 10.
Right here.
And if the fans look here, you know, we have a pretty good angle. And thanks, guys, down there, how close the running backs for Centreville are to that line of scrimmage. And, you know, often that we've seen a couple Centreville games, it looks like it's a big rugby scrum right at the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden Williams breaks out, he's gone.
On second and about 7, trying to go around the right side.
Again,
Swallowed up quickly is Ferris
You have
Eways.
to be willing to run the counter in some things against Braddock, but I think you play right into their strength. They recover so very well.
Let's go down to Cliff Cradle on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. I don't know if you noticed at the end of the first quarter, number 59 came out. Excuse me. Jeffrey Eddy. Well, he has a strained left knee. I asked him if he hoped to come back. He said he hoped so. That's a story from down here. Back upstairs to you.
Jeff Eddy with the strained knee as flags fly on 3rd and about 8.
Again, Centerville's in a situation they don't want to be in, which is 3rd and 7 or 8, which they've been in quite a bit today against Lake Braddock's vaunted defense.
5:01 remaining here in the first half. Still Lake Braddock up 7-zip.
But we've seen in the Centreville games up until now, and of course, you know, they're playing the top team, I guess, you know, in the northern region. Rarely do they ever lose a lot of yardage. You don't see them like getting deep on a pitch or anything like that. So rarely do they have these situations that we've seen 3rd and long, and yet they've come up oftentimes today.
Now on 3rd and 4, straight ahead. It'll be close to the first down.
Yeah, you know, they're very conservative, allow their backs to make plays. They don't do much that would put them in it's not a high-risk offense, obviously, right. So they don't get themselves in long yardage. Most people, they're able to knock off the football. Looks like we're going to have a measurement situation here. Give us a chance to catch our breath with Centerville's offense in and out of the huddle. You know, you just talked about B.J. Quigley not turning the ball over. I mean, we've had two turnovers in the game, the interception that Lake Braddock ran back and of course, the fumble by B.J. Quigley. Quigley's thrown 2 interceptions the entire season. That's an incredible stat for a high school quarterback. And I would venture to say, and I don't have the stats, but Centerville rarely puts the ball on the ground.
By the nose of the football, it is a Centerville first down.
It's no secret that both these teams are playing in the regional championship when they don't turn the ball up.
They got the band in the stands. Hey, if you guys have $5, anybody out there, you want to see some great football action, great entertainment, come on out and watch the football game.
Williams tries to dance around the left corner, pick up about 3.
Mark Larrabee, the defensive tackle for Lake Braddock, is able to slide down the line of scrimmage and corral Mike Williams there on the pitch. He's an outstanding defensive lineman for the Bruins.
Make it 2nd and 8 now for the Wildcats. Clock rolling along. 3:54 to play in the first half. Wildcats down by 7. Williams around the right side, looking to find some blocks. Keeps his legs churning. Gets it up just inside the 50, down to about the 47.
What kind of tackle do you call that one? It looks like Williams is going and somebody had him by his head.
Know, you make a good point about the rugby scrum. That's really what they. But here's Centerville at their best. Get 3 yards, get yourself in 3rd and 3. Now you can do a couple of different things with your offense.
Everybody in tight for the Wildcats. They go straight ahead. Looks like they might be just short.
So bring up a 4th down situation. It'll be interesting in a 7-0 ball game if he goes for the first down here.
You watch these kids play football, and you know, if you're out there playing football, naturally you're a pretty tough kid. You can put up with a lot of kids can put up with a great deal of pain, but there's always like tough guys out there. And this kid, Uffin, 47, I've been watching him play, watching him block. He goes both ways. He's playing defense now. The kid that played for Oakton last year, I can't remember his last name. I think his first name was Mark, your linebacker.
Kimmener.
Yes. Tough
Sitting
guy.
down in the stands, definitely.
4th and about 1.5 yards. This is Williams. He's got the first down.
Big play there for Centerville. You got 2:35 left to go in the game, or in the first half, excuse me. And they take a chance here on the 45-yard line, picking up the first down. If you don't get it, you give Braddock a chance to take a close game and break it out to a 2-score lead.
The Wildcats just keep on coming now. 1st and 10 again, straight ahead, down to about the 40-yard line.
Using his teammates as a ladder.
We should just call this the bulldozer offense, because that's really what it is. You just get that big offensive line moving.
But that's what we've seen, and I'm saying, you know, it's like, you know, 3 yards, and all of a sudden Williams breaks one.
On 2nd and 8, this is Williams breaking it down to about the 35.
You make an interesting point, and my brother and I, who coaches over at Robinson High School, talked about this quite a bit. You almost have to play a goal line defense. You have to play goal line technique where you're subbing in their offensive linemen and try to create no running lanes. But usually when you do that, it's somewhat of a gamble. And as you saw in the Sully Bowl, they split them and had one big long run. It was the difference in the ball game.
Wildcats call a timeout with 1:54 on the clock. As you can see, it up 7-0 are the Lake Braddock Bruins. We're playing for the Northern Region Championship.
I talked to Mike Skinner about this, their quarterback, McElroy, and we alluded to it earlier. He feels he's one of the finest athletes in Northern Virginia. However, he has given up his personal stats for the success of the team. And he said, yeah, I said, well, you know, Mike, I know you guys, you know, don't throw the ball, you're very conservative. He says, we do that because we try to give the ball to Williams as many times as we can. That's all. But if I wanted to open up the game, which is not, this kid McElroy can play.
Well, those of you probably saw the regional championship game. We played him last year in the regional championship game, and that was a close ball game. He made a couple outstanding throws, hit a bootleg for a 20-yard touchdown pass. In our game this year, we had him 3rd and 17. The score was 10-6, and he rolled out and threw as pretty a 50-yard strike as you ever want to see to Eways for a touchdown, and broke the game wide open. So yes, he's a threat running and throwing. He can do it when they need him.
Again, the Wildcats on 3rd and about 3. Williams are on the left side. Again, it'll be close.
Pete, is there any, you know, I mean, we look at both these squads and we're saying, I guess Braddock's a little bit more open than Centreville is, and we'll get to it right after this play.
Again, on 4th and short, Williams are on the left side. He's got the first down again, spins his way inside the 30 to about the 26-yard line.
But they pare the game down to the simple aspects of the game. It's not, you know, a whole lot of hocus pocus or anything like that. It's simply blocking, running, and tackling.
It's basic football, defensive football, play kicking game, and be happy running the football.
On 1st down, they go run the ball.
In a hurry up because they only have one timeout left, I believe. We're down to 1:15 and counting.
Yep, clock rolling along, 1:10 to play.
These teams have great confidence, very patient.
There you see Francis Dahl.
After a loss about half a yard on 2nd and 10.5. McElroy is flushed. He's got the big gainer down the left side, and I think he picked up another first down for the Wildcats.
Now see, if I was coaching McElroy, you'd see a lot more of that. You'd see him drop back, wait for everybody to get in.
Yeah, he can do a lot. Ernest Hunter here, you'll see the replay. Drop back to pass, big Ernest Hunter jumps, and McElroy's quick enough to scamper out of there and make a big play, give him first down on the 11.
1st and 10, just down the other side of the 10-yard line. They can pick up a first down in this drive.
Nice stop along that sideline there. It looked like McElroy was going to go. Jim Burrell, one of the 4 co-captains here for Lake Braddock, came over to stop it. And
again, you got Braddock on their heels a little bit. Just this hurry-up offense. And obviously, we're in a 2-minute drill, and they're content to run the football.
13 plays in this drive for the Wildcats. 44 seconds to play in the first half, down 7-0, and the Bruins want a timeout.
See Carol Craig, one of the outstanding assistant coaches in Northern Virginia. Carol's done a great job. You always hear about Lake Braddock's fine defense. Again, though, you know, no panic by Centreville. They got the ball with about 3 minutes to go. They've effectively run the ball basically right down the field. You know, Braddock's dominated most of the play up till this point, till this drive, but you know, if they punch it in here, we got a 7-7 game at halftime.
Pete, do we build the, or looking at Braddock, and of course from your experience, to build the offense first or the defense first?
I think you have to build your defense. You put your best players on defense. Great example. Both these teams, I believe, are number 1 and 2 in the area in scoring defense. They don't give up a lot of points, and they let their defense set their offense up with field position.
Right. There you see Mike Skinner cheering his troops on from the sideline. Skinner in his first year over here at Centreville High School as the head coach.
We go around the right side. Williams just short of the goal line.
Gives them first and goal, stop the clock with 39 seconds. Again, now they've got 4 cracks from about the half-yard line.
Williams seems to be stopped. It looks like we got a little ballet going on the sideline. Skinner and the assistant coach.
Yeah, they had 1 timeout left. They didn't want to use it. The kids were signaling timeout. The clock had stopped because of the first down. That's, I believe, Centerville's final timeout of the half.
39 seconds left in this half. Wildcats now first and goal down at the Lake Braddock 1-yard line.
Matthew, how long have they had the football? It seems like the whole second quarter has been
about 14 plays in this drive, just eating up the clock.
Chris Cotter in the offensive huddle will probably call 2 offensive plays here. That will allow them to run the football. I'm sure they're thinking, let's get in on the first one here. And again, here we are, Centerville knocking on the door in a 7-0 ball game that's been, you know, field position-wise, Braddock has had the upper hand most of the first half.
Centerville Wildcats defending Northern Region champs.
Didn't they beat last year
I don't.
You're going to say things like that, put your mic in front of your mouth.
No, at least you guys scored against them.
Here we go, first and goal from the 1-yard line. Williams has his legs cut off from underneath him and he stops short.
One of the great young players for the Lake Braddock Bruins, number 41, Adam Brown, from his linebacker
Here they
spot.
go,
Nice
hurry up, right back up to the line of scrimmage. Williams again. Still churning.
Gotta hurry, got 20 seconds left.
They
See if
stop
can
and
get
clock rolling along. 16, 15, 14.
Could be huge for Lake Braddock.
Wildcats trying to get another play off. 10
seconds.
seconds left in the first half.
Spike the
And he
ball.
spikes the ball to stop the clock with 8 seconds in the first half.
Now you know why they were doing that ballet over there, not wanting to use that timeout with 39 seconds left. Puts them in the situation. Fortunately, they had 1 play left. Got a chance to call 1 play.
But they did pretty much exactly what you said, Pete. They came down, they called 2 plays because you saw the kids after the first one turn right back around, get up without even, taking a second.
Right, Centerville's going to have to hurry up. They got 25 seconds to get the play off. They're going to be close here.
McElroy bootleg.
First and goal, Williams straight ahead.
Got it. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Centerville Wildcats.
Mike Williams, and he was hit before the goal line. Is just his muscle. He muscled it in there.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, Mike, he could sit out the second half. I mean, he's played a full game of football here in the first half of the game. Have you seen Mike Williams, the senior? Tough, hard-nosed runner.
So they're punching in, breaking a tackle on the goal line. I believe that was 39. Mike Rodriguez.
Christensen with the point after. It is up and it is good. So with 4 seconds remaining in the first half, the Wildcats have put together a heroic drive to tie it at 7.
You know, as a football coach, you know, this has been an outstanding, exciting first half for the fans. I'm not so sure that's the case, but this is vintage high school football right here.
And we saw that in the Sully Bowl. We watched it. It was like, God, are these kids ever going to score? But if you really understand, the football game, Centerville obviously had the more talented kids. Chantilly gave themselves a shot to be in, to win the football game at the end of the game. It was very, very exciting, I think, from a coach's standpoint and, of course, from a player's standpoint.
Certainly. And that's just a heavyweight fight. 2 heavyweights slugging it out here. We're all tied up after 24 minutes of play. If you're Centerville here, do you kick the ball deep? I think you squib it on the ground to prevent the speedsters there for Lake Braddock, Peter Oak, and Mr. Delphin back there from returning the kick.
Christensen to kick it away for the Wildcats. Sure enough, they squib it right down the middle.
It's Brad
They get it
Evans
up
for
across
Lake
the
Braddock.
40, and that'll do it for the first half, and we are tied at 7. Pretty much all we expected with one team who's undefeated, one who's the defending region champ.
Yeah, both of them just playing outstanding defense. Probably one pass play that Centerville would like to have back. Cost them a touchdown, but if you're Centerville, you got to be pretty happy scoring right there on 4th and inches down on the goal line as clock was running out here in the first half.
Man, and I was a little, excited there at the end. Didn't know whether they're going to get it in, feeling anxiety, and they punched it through. And I'm not for either team.
Right. I think for Braddock, obviously, it would have been a big emotional lift if they stop him there. But certainly for Centreville, getting that 7 points makes a big difference.
So at the end of the first half, we are tied at 7. Stick around. We've got all second half action coming right up. You're watching the High School Sports USA Game of the Week. Love, exciting. Seven halftime tie as the Centreville Wildcats kick it away to the Lake Braddock Bruins. That is touched and knocked out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Matt Fetters along with Pete Bendorf, Jake DeArmond, and now let's go down to Cliff Cradle.
Thanks, guys. I had a chance to speak to both coaches at halftime. Francis Dahl and the Lake Braddock said we have to keep scratching and clawing. He said we have a lot of guys coming in here that are banged up. We've had a lot more guys banged up in this game. On the other side of the field, Mike Skinner of Centreville said it's been a very physical game, and we're going to have to keep getting physical for the next 24 minutes if we want to win. That's the story from down here. Matt, Jake, Coach, back up to you.
Not real surprising that they're saying it's a physical game, as we are here for the Northern Region Championship.
Extremely even, and we'll talk about that in just a moment.
B.J. Quigley, quarterback for the Lake Braddock Bruins, brings his Bruins up to the line, 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right, and he'll throw on first down, deep down the right-hand side. It's got him!
He's going to go the distance.
A foot race down to the right-hand side, touchdown, Lake Braddock Bruins.
Pete, do you think that play was called at halftime?
Obviously you got to take a chance. Ashley Simmons got great speed. Just a fade pattern. Beautiful throw by B.J. Quigley, which they've been doing all year. 89 yards. I got to believe that's got to be a regional record. I don't know that for a fact, but what a great throw. And for him to outrun the Centreville secondary, he's dead fast.
Bruins on for the point after. Finneran in for the extra point attempt. He was perfect in the first half. We'll see if he can make it a 14-7 game. Good snap, hold, kick is up, and it's dead center down the middle. So with 11:47 to play in the third quarter, the Bruins strike quickly and go up 14-7.
That was just like, here we go, watch it again.
See Simmons down at the bottom, just a fade pattern. Quick throw, runs by the Centreville defender, and he's on his way. Just great speed.
He's pulling away at the end. But hats off, Francis Dahl, right? The wind at his back, right? He knows this is the last shot he's got really at. Nobody's had a lot of success throwing into the wind this afternoon. Comes out, first play, bam.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just going to talk about how even we were 7-7 at halftime. Centreville has 115 yards rushing in the first half, and Braddock with 118. Mike Williams lead the way for Centreville with 20 carries for 87 yards in that first half. Pretty incredible. But Braddock strikes big with the big play. Obviously, there was no passing yards so to speak of in the first half, and they hit a big 89-yarder to start the second half.
But that was just like the Bendorf guys, right over at Thoreau Intermediate School, right, when you're growing up, huh?
Exactly.
Over Marshall High School.
I think they were end over end.
The option pass.
Yes.
Which end do I have to?
Taken at the 15, up wrong left side, fumble! Lake Braddock says they have it, but they'll have to, yes, Lake Braddock football.
Looks like Eways is down too, took a big hit. I didn't see who made the hit, but number 5 for Lake Braddock, that's Peyton Lamb recovering the football, putting the Bruins in business on the 30-yard line.
Who says lightning doesn't strike twice?
Wow. Very even game, and again, special teams making a big difference. Here's the kickoff again. See if we can see who makes the tackle. Not a deep kick, down to about the 15. It's like number 47, Matt Uffin, your tough guy, making a play.
Oak, the ball carrier, on 1st and 10, stuffed right at the line.
Rob Lane in on the tackle for the Wildcats.
Right, and Lane is probably got to be one of the leading tacklers in Northern Virginia. And as we alluded to, blitzing from his linebacker position. You see him in the backfield before the back even gets the handoff. You see him whenever there's a pass play. It's usually Lane trying to chase down the opposing quarterback.
14-7, Lake Braddock trying to tack on to this 7-point lead. 11:08 to play in the third quarter. Quigley to throw again. Under some pressure, and it falls short.
Yeah, big Cardell Richardson, all 6'3", 245 pounds of him in the face of P.J. Quigley. Tough man to throw over, trying to throw it out there to Ryan Neff in the flat.
You just saw the big white jersey out there, number 23. I think it's the first defensive end I'd ever heard of who wears number. Is it 23, I think his number is?
And the interesting story is he started out as a free safety as a sophomore and ate himself right out of the position, along with many hours in the weight room, I'm sure.
Well, Myers looked like he was the nose tackle there, was out there covering in the flat. What a great scene that would be to see Jason Myers intercept that one and run it back.
Quigley now with one receiver out to his left on 3rd and 10. He's going to put it up one more time. Picked off. Up across the 20 to about the 24-yard line. Eric Phelps with the interception for the Wildcats.
Yeah, if we see that again, they try to go again to Simmons on a post corner route, and the Centreville Wildcats were not fooled. Number 4 there, Eric Phelps, stayed home, covered his third. Here you'll see it. Little ball fake, got a post corner, and there he steps in front. Eric Phelps, nice interception. We're right back in business.
It's a good job by the Centreville kids to hang in there because they got burned on a long one. They come back and fumble the kickoff.
But just like in the first half, Centreville having to dig themselves out of a 7-point hole.
Again, patient, willing to run the football, pick up 2-3 yards on first down with Hamilton testing the middle of that Bruin defensive front.
Evans and Larrabee on the tackle for Lake Braddock.
Make it 2nd and 8 now for the Wildcats. Again, a gain of a couple.
Adam Moore, defensive end for the Bruins, number 67, sliding down to make a play on Williams. Again, now we have Centreville in a 3rd and 8 situation where they don't like to be.
Pete, what do they got tucked in there? It looks like Williams and another kid for Centreville. Guy going off the field right now, Sean Diggs. Talk about what the way their shoulder pads are set.
Gilroy on 3rd and 8 to throw down the middle. Falls incomplete. Trying to get it downfield to his intended receiver, number 3, J.P. Gary.
Yeah, just a little ball fake in there. What you're seeing, those shoulder pads that they have on and the equipment that these kids wear is state of the art. And it's probably got a bunch of kicker plates on the bottom that just protect the ribs and the kidney area. And those jerseys are tight fitting, so there's not much to grab onto.
Bring up 4th and about 8 for the Wildcats, and they'll have to kick it away. 9:47 to play in the third quarter. 14-7, Lake Braddock on top. Wobbler fires out of bounds. Now marking it about the 50-yard line.
Looked like one of my tee shots there.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of Chris Hall. He's usually pretty reliable, hit an end-over-end kick. About a 20-yard kick. Put the Bruins in business on the 50-yard line here.
Okay, I think the gentleman, let's see here, was it Eddie?
Yes.
The guy who came out of the game?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think, is it Comples in there at right tackle? Little guy.
Yeah, number 66.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 5'9", 189-pound senior.
Guarantee he's tough.
Quickly now on 1st and 10. Here they go over the left side. This is Neff churning across the 40. Still moving inside down to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's interesting. A guy who's 6 foot, 200 pounds can slide through the littlest of cracks. Following his big offensive lineman there, number 65. That's Steve Fennerin. Again, just a great job on the counter play by the Bruins.
Great piece of running that time by Neff. You know, everybody looks at a run and says, okay, well, he went 50 yards. Sometimes the greatest runs are for like 5-10 yards, and that was a great run by Neff.
14 yards on the carry. 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line of Centreville. Neff again, this time stops the line.
There's our muscle man, Jason Myers, at the bottom of the pile.
Right on the
fire
bottom.
play.
Great play by Myers. What a fire play that guy is. Now, he's an underclassman, too, isn't
He is a junior. One of the nicest kids you'll ever meet, too. Great set of parents.
And of course, that helps a great deal in this situation because these kids spend a lot of time away from home and away from their studies.
Quickly now at 2nd and 10. 2 receivers up to his left-hand side. Going down over the middle, over the right side, falls incomplete.
Interesting, a little bit of change in strategy by the Bruins. They do have the win. You're getting man coverage, a lot of vertical pass routes you've seen. That's the third one we've seen here in the first 3.5 minutes. As long as they give him enough time, and they've set that up by running the football. But unfortunately, that was incomplete, and it'll bring up a 3rd and long situation for Lake Braddock.
Chris Hydock, the intended receiver, just over his outstretched hands.
A total about face and strategy. Very conservative in the first half here, but I think Dahl is trying to take advantage with the of the wind being at his back. And of course, Quigley, as we mentioned, guy just doesn't turn the football over that much.
Now on 3rd and 10, this is Neff straight ahead. Got some room. He's got the first down. Down to the 20-yard line.
There it is again. 3rd down and 9. And I tell you what, my coaches give me a hard time about running trap on 3rd and long, but you see how successful it is. Great play when you have a great back. Ryan Neff dances his way down inside the 20-yard line for a big first down for the Bruins.
Just a tough guy to bring down. I mean, he broke 3 or 4 tackles on his way, but he actually should have been stopped early in that run. And Neff, people bouncing off those big thighs, like Pete said. Great pickup for first down.
Quickly on 1st and 10 from the Centreville 20. Neff again. This time he is surrounded and dropped right at the 20.
What a great play by Cardell Richardson. Took on the fullback, reached over top of him, and grabbed onto Ryan Neff, who's no easy guy to bring down. Tackles Neff for a loss of about 1.5 yards on the play.
Richardson, Myers, and of course Rob Lane in there on the tackle for the Centreville Wildcats.
It's no secret these two teams are playing for the regional championship. They play great defense.
It's interesting how they set their defense too here, Pete. Maybe you could explain what's going on with that.
2nd and 11 now for the Bruins. Straight up the middle inside the 15.
Just a straight dive there to Matt Uffin. Centreville, Mike Skinner does a great job adjusting his front. He'll play a little bit different depending on who he's playing. I've seen him play anywhere from a 4-man defensive line to putting 6 guys down, which almost amounts to 6-1. Let Rob Lane kind of pick up anything that pops out of there. Braddock does a good job also. They play like a pressure defense, both of them do. But Braddock's not playing their conventional normal defense against Centreville's offense today.
3rd and 6 for the Bruins now, just inside the 15-yard line. Oak trying to go over the left side. He's stopped for no gain.
Again, got Carl Dorr and Jason Myers at the bottom of that pile for Centreville, stopping the charge there by the Bruins. It looks like we're going to get a field goal attempt.
This will be about a 32-yard attempt. Clock rolling along, 6:15 to play in the 3rd quarter. Lake Braddock trying to add on to their 14-7 lead.
Big old guy kicking a field goal, isn't he?
Steve Finneran, again, just from his guard spot, hurries back there to kick the ball.
32 yards, low snap, handled nicely. The kick is up, and it is good. 32 yards by Finneran, making a 17-7 game, Lake Braddock.
You need to give Mike Cassidy a big pat on the back. He did a great job handling that snap, low snap there. He was able to put it down for his teammate to kick that ball through and give the Bruins a 10-point lead.
Michael Cassidy, 5'7", 130-pound senior, took it on the wrong side. The snap came to his right side. He brought it across his body and put it down for Finneran. And Finneran, he's got to be the largest place kicker.
Yeah, you see Al Fish down there talking to his offensive lineman. Al's been a tremendous coach for a long time in Northern Virginia, former head coach at McLean. I had the opportunity to coach with him at Oakton High School. Just an outstanding coach.
Al Fish coached me in his first year, so that was 25 years ago, at Madison High School, when Fish just came out of
Sorry, Al.
Out of college. That's right. And he took, Fish is a big guy, played lineman in college, and he took the fastest. He said, "Who's the fastest guy on the team?" And our quarterback was that year. Fish took him on in a sprint and beat him.
The Wildcats make the catch, but down the ball in the process and inside the 10-yard line at about the 8.
Al's a great guy to talk to. Went to Kentucky, played for the Wildcats.
We were at practice one day, and he was wildly gesturing to us because we were doing something wrong, and he's got that big old college graduation ring. And the thing was like, it's as big as, half my hand. And he's out there gesturing. The thing flew off like that, and he couldn't find it. So he said, I'll give $20 to anybody who'll find that ring. If I wouldn't have, I got my dad's flashlight, I came back to school, I found that thing for him, and I got my 20 bucks.
What'd you do with that 20 bucks?
Paid for my college education.
Here they go. Williams on the right side, way up across the 35, all the way up to about the 40.
It's number 23, Jim Burrell, making a huge touchdown-saving tackle on the counter play, tackling Williams after about a 30-yard gain. Here you see him pop through. Not real pretty. 34-yard run there by Mike Williams.
Burrell, nice open field tackle, and a guy that's tough to bring down.
Nice play by the Wildcats. Now 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. This time stuffed at the line of scrimmage. So, Jake, it's what you're telling us is a college education from Virginia Tech is worth about $20.
Well, it was the beginning of my college education.
Back in the day.
I'd like to see what it costs now to send a young lady or young man to Virginia Tech compared to what, was 25 years ago. Jeez.
I think whenever they have a good football season, the prices go up, doesn't it?
There you go.
5 minutes to play in the third period. 17-7, Lake Braddock on top as flags fly and fingers are pointed over at the Centreville side.
It looks like J.P. Gary jumped a little bit early for the Wildcats. Puts them in a 2nd and long situation. Again, a situation they don't like to be in. They're happy to turn around and hand the ball to Mike Williams 40 times a game.
For those of you who haven't seen Centreville before, the run prior to was a classic Mike Williams or a classic Centreville play. 3 yards, then all of a sudden, bing, and down he goes, looking good on the sidelines in his glasses, saying hello to his mother.
Cliff Cradle. Now, if he only had something to say. Now on 2nd and 15, falls incomplete.
Just trying to flare the ball out to Mike Williams. If they can't turn and hand it to him, why not throw it to him?
4 guys in the pattern. How many guys does Oakton normally send in a pattern there?
Whoa, we try to throw the ball quite a bit on 3 steps, and we'll send 4 or 5 out. If you're going to do that, you better throw the ball quickly or you're going to get sacked. And we've been fairly successful with it. Had an outstanding quarterback this year, Tom Ridley, who just had a great year for us.
Again, 3rd and about 14 now for the Wildcats. 4:36 to play in the third. Lots of pressure, gets it away. And he makes the catch, and it'll be darn close to the 1st down.
Big blitz put on. They brought a lot of people off the edge. You see, unfortunately, a Lake Braddock player down. Looked like they collided with McElroy.
J.P. Gary, the receiver.
When you bring that many people, usually somebody's open, and J.P. Gary was picking up a key 1st down.
Not much on the pass, but he didn't have to have a whole heck of a lot on the pass. As Pete and Matt said, a bunch of people from Lake Braddock in the backfield, and we're not sure who the young man down is.
I think it's Brad Evans from his outside linebacker. They brought him off a stun off the edge there, and he collided with his teammate from the other side. I don't know who hit him from the other side, but it looked like the 2 of them slammed helmets together as they were meeting at the quarterback. Let's see if we get a replay here.
You hear the phrase all the time, the heart of a champion, and these kids from Centreville, here we'll see the replay.
It's Rodriguez, Mike Rodriguez off the side here. He ran into Brad Evans. Well, maybe it is Evans who's down.
Right, and they met at the I guess that's what they say, meet at the quarterback, but boy, they did, and it looked like a collision out there on 495. But
it happens a lot. Quarterback steps up in the pocket, and the two outside linebackers overrun.
But these kids from Centreville, I mean, just refuse to give up. They're down by 10 points here, and just fighting their way back in the ball game.
Yeah, that's born of confidence. Winning a lot of close games. They're not going to panic. They believe in what they do. This is what got them here. Let's stick with it. We're down 10 points, but we go down and get a score here, or we're right back in the ball game.
Talk about these 2 teams. Of course, with the dismissal of Dan Folio at the beginning of the year, Skinner taking over, right? And of course, Folio and Skinner coached when they were over at Marshall High School, and then brought their experience over here to Centreville. On the other hand, Braddock, I guess, what was it, Matt? The 3rd game or 2nd game of the year when Francis Dahl announced that?
Yeah, somewhere in that area after 2nd or 3rd game.
Well, a couple things. Mike Skinner's been at Centreville for a number of years now, and that wasn't too big a transition. That's not to take anything away from Dan, who's an outstanding coach. But, the coaching staff stayed intact. Mike's been a head coach for 3 years, 2 years at Marshall, and they went to the regional championship, I think, both years there. So Mike's accustomed to this. I think Francis retiring to go on to be the athletic director at the new school, certainly, the Bruins are playing for him and to send him out on the top note.
The injured Bruin was Brad Evans, and he's up and off the field, so that's good news. And it was enough first down for the Centreville Wildcats, and they gain of about 3 on the first play.
So there's an opening here at Lake Braddock High School for a head football coach. All the coaches in Northern Virginia know that. Okay, it's got to be a pretty lucrative. There is a lot of pressure because when you have this many kids in your school, right, you're expected to win, or at least win more than you lose.
2nd and 5 now for the Wildcats from the 44. Williams around the right side. He's got the first down and a little bit more. Still on his feet inside the 30.
This one might be coming back. Could be a holding right there in the middle of the play. We'll see. Great running by Mike Williams on a quick pitch there.
There is a flag down on the play.
But anyhow, so when does the opening, when can you put in your resume, not that you would put in your resume, but when would a person put in their resume to come over to Lake Braddock and say, hey, I'd like to coach here?
Well, obviously it's, one of the prime jobs in Fairfax County, and I'm sure that Lake Braddock will wait until their season is complete so that there's really no distraction to what they're trying to get done here, and I'm sure for the Lake Braddock faithful, they hope that they play all the way into December as we see the penalty being marked off against Centreville. Francis Dahl has done so much for Northern Region football, and he's got a great program at Lake Braddock. Not only that, he's really helped Northern Virginia football. He's been a fine representative. His teams have always played with great class and great consistency. So following Francis Dahl at Lake Braddock would be no easy task. I'm certain that if someone like Carol Craig off his staff was interested in the job, and I don't know that, he certainly would be deserving of that. But I'm sure there will be a fair amount of interest in the job.
After the penalty, make it 2nd and 14 for the Wildcats. Back inside their own territory now from the 46. McElroy throws it, got his man. Nope, they're calling him out of bounds. Stepped out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
It was a play that didn't count because he threw the ball out of bounds, but what great touch by Sam McElroy there, dropping the ball into Tony Grossman down the sideline there. Good coverage by the Bruins.
Nice job by the guy on the chain gang over there to just completely out of the way. He dropped his marker, and the Centreville kid didn't even know he was out of bounds. But that was a nice pass by McElroy.
And 3rd and 14 for the Wildcats. McElroy over the middle, has got his man. Nice gain, short of the first down.
Again, fake the quick pitch there to Williams. Hit McElroy, hit J.P. Gary dragging across the middle there. Looks like we may get a punting situation. Let's see what we get. Here's the replay.
There we go. Nice pass by McElroy, and look at Oak right around the ankles. Put his face mask right on the top of the shoes of that kid, and Gary went down. We're looking up here at the flag there, Matthew. It doesn't look like it was as windy as it once was.
Nope. Wind dying down a little bit. Make it 4th and about 4 now. They'll kick it away with the Wildcats. Nice boomer. Bobbled inside the 5, up across the 10 to the 15. Pushed out of bounds at about the 14-yard line.
As a coach, you get a little nervous when a young man, Mr. Delphin, Craig Delphin,
Yep, it was Delphin.
Fielding the ball on the 5-yard line, something that you probably preach, and if it's over your head on the 10, you let it go. But fortunately, he was able to pick it up after he muffed it and get the ball out to the 15.
He had that one planned all the way.
That's the one where you put your arm around him and you whisper a few sweet nothings in his ear. What the
Ball
heck
bounced
are
on
you
the
doing?
turf right back up to him. Nice play by Blake Johnson to stay in his lane and not let the ball carrier, the punt returner, get outside.
Quickly now on 1st and 10 from his own 15. Neff, the ball carrier, gain of maybe 1.
Got a good look there at B.J. Quigley. Just a sophomore. Started as a freshman for Lake Braddock. Has really matured through his 20 or so football games that he's played in his varsity career. There's a good look at him. outstanding young quarterback and probably will be for a number of years here in Northern Virginia.
How do you put a freshman at quarterback when you're playing in the Patriot District?
Yeah, Francis Dahl as a coach who can calm you down and keep you calm.
Quigley now on 2nd and 9. Neff around the right side, up across the 20. Nope, stepped out of bounds right, just short of the 20-yard line.
See the strength of Ryan Neff shaking off two would-be tacklers there and almost dancing down the sideline for a big gain.
And it's true. Now, you look at Neff, and he's not the biggest guy in the world, but you look at him from the waist down, and he's got, you know, a couple of concrete blocks there for thighs. And bounce two, you know, would-be Centreville tacklers right off.
2:02 to play in the third quarter. It's a 17-7 Lake Braddock lead.
Here's another guy, a guy you wouldn't find, or an atypical defender, right there in the middle of the Centreville defense. I think it's Shanahan, number 56, Ryan Shanahan.
On 3rd and 4, Bruins straight ahead. Neff trying to bounce it out to the outside, but he's wrapped up and dropped at the line of scrimmage.
Again, just great defense by Centreville. Just stringing the play out, not allowing any lanes in there for Neff to find. No seams to turn it up, bringing up a punting situation.
Ryan Shanahan, 5'8", 185-pounder nose tackle.
Yeah.
Quick guy. Is that what?
Mike Skinner's favorite type of player, and he's been a good player for 2 years for them.
Kick, not a big kick, taken at the 49, and fair catch called for, where the Wildcats will take over just inside Lake Braddock territory.
See Ferris Eway's there, plays wide receiver, really a tight end position, could be a quarterback for Centreville. Great set of hands, outstanding player for the Wildcats.
Nice play on the punt, too. Wasn't right to him. Good fair catch. Knows he's going to get the ball. His team's going to get the ball in good field position, see if he can smack some points here. Bring this ball game a little bit closer before the end of the third quarter.
Down only by 10, now with some good field position. Williams, gain of about 3.
There you see Coach Fish on your television monitor, talking to the guys from Lake Braddock.
It's like he's lost a few strands of hair after his days coaching you there at Madison High School.
Somebody said he didn't lose them. He's got them at home in his shoebox
There
somewhere.
We're just kidding now.
I'm staying out of this. Clock rolling along. 1 minute to play in the third quarter on 2nd and about 8.
Great discipline by Brad Evans, who was banged up the series earlier, staying at home off the fake dive there. Made the play on McElroy on the little bootleg. 3rd and long again for the Wildcats.
Tough thing to teach a kid like that. When the play's going the other way, you have to stand there and make sure that, you know, your hole is taken care of.
McElroy looking down the middle, has got his receiver. Fumble.
Yeah, it is a fumble, and it looks like it's going to work out for the Wildcats. See Coach Skinner upset about something over there.
Yep.
Maybe didn't run the right route.
Rolls out of bounds, though, down at the 35-yard line. It'll be enough for a first down for the Wildcats.
Yes, big break for Centreville.
It looked like it was the same route they ran before with Gary. They run that underneath route, Pete.
Yeah, they faked the quick pitch there to Williams. You know, obviously, as many times he carries the ball there, you gotta worry about him. And just the drag route underneath to J.P. Gary.
Everybody in tight for the Wildcats as Williams shuffles across the right side. Flags fly.
Could be a motion penalty here on Centreville. I had the good fortune to coach with, that's what it is, legal procedure on Centreville, coaching with Mike Skinner back at the days at Marshall. And I will tell you what, I haven't been around too many guys who is more attuned to how to defend people than Mike. And the other thing is kids love to play for him. Just a great guy. He's very, very loyal to his players.
5-yard penalty, make it 1st and 15 now for the Wildcats. McElroy looking out to his left. He's got his receiver. Got enough for a first down. Dropped just inside the 20-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. We've gone the whole game, people running the football, and now it's the passing game that's starting to open things up. And again, you see McElroy finding the open receiver there, J.P. Gary on a little corner route.
Nice touch on the pass, and he's throwing into the wind. It looks like it's kicked back up again.
And time runs out in the third quarter, so as we head towards the fourth, it's a 17-7 Lake Braddock lead.
Getting back to Mike Skinner, just in the conversations that I've had we asked him after the Sully Bowl, we said, you know, your feelings on the game. He said, Chantilly outplayed us.
Yeah,
A guy like that there's not a lot of fluff with, and as a kid and even as, you know, an employee yourself, I mean, if you know where you stand with your athletic director, if you know you stand with your principal, you're a lot more comfortable in your job. I think the kids are comfortable playing with them because there's not, you know, he just tells it like it is, and that's it.
Yeah, Mike's a straight shooter, and I think that's what people appreciate about him. The kids know exactly what they're going to get with him. He's a no-nonsense guy. You know, has fun with the kids, but you know, he teaches them the values of good hard work and that kind of thing, and you see that displayed in his Centreville team out here. He's also got a great group of assistant coaches who've been with him for a long time, who were there with Dan Folio and continue the fine tradition that Centreville has.
That's the whole Marshall contingent, isn't it? Huh? Do they still have some guys over there from the old Mountain Marshall?
Quite a few, but there's been a kind of a nice mix, somewhat of a changeover. Rich Farrick is still over there. Tim O'Toole, we were all together at Marshall. Chris Cotter, who's their offensive coordinator, was at Chantilly with my brother and came on over to Centreville. But there's a bunch of guys over there, and some of them are the local guys from the Centreville area.
Wildcats 1st and 10 as a flag flies, and they can't even get the first play of the 4th quarter off.
Interesting call. This might be encroachment on the defense here. We'll have to see. Looks like Ernest Hunter might have lined up offsides. Let's see if that's what it is. Yep. Crowd in the line of scrimmage.
I'm kind of surprised at the number of penalties here today, because seeing both teams play throughout the year, and the reason that they're here is they don't line up offsides and they don't do a whole heck of a lot of illegal motion. But today, we've seen a lot of that.
You don't play for the regional championship every week. You know, a little more on the line this week.
Williams straight ahead inside the 5 to about the 3.
Do you get the sense that maybe they're just running that sled dog offense where they just get behind the horses and let's go, mush?
Yes, indeed.
Here it is again. You'll see the counter play. Slides right through there.
Carl Dorr leading the way for Mike Williams.
We actually missed a short handoff by Williams right there. Got stopped by the middle of that Lake Braddock line. Looks like Ernest Hunter and John Rowe, number 36 for Lake Braddock. Brings the second down and 2.
Second and goal from the 2-yard line for the Wildcats. Trying to pull back within 3. Straight ahead. Touchdown, Centreville Wildcats.
I think we had a brick wall up there in the on the goal line. Hamilton would have made it through. He got that football just shot out of the backfield, smelling that goal line.
Looks like he got behind Justin Bedell and Carl Dorr, the 2 mammoth offensive linemen there for the Wildcats. Followed him in there. Greg Hamilton, a big back himself.
200-pound senior. And I guess he's got a little bloodline here working on the Marcus, I think, is his brother. Is that?
Yeah, and his dad coaches.
Christensen in for the point after, and it is up, and it is good. So with 11:17 to play in this contest, the Wildcats pull back within 3, down 17-14.
Better call Domino's Pizza. This one might go for a while here.
Excuse me.
Papa John's Pizza, I think,
Oh, that's right.
is who we should be calling.
That's right.
I apologize.
Papa John's, of course, supplying the pizza and sodas here for our broadcast of this afternoon's football game.
Papa John's taking care of us all season long here at the High School Sports USA Game of the Week.
That's what you get for getting a football coach up here helping all that.
Franny Dahl talking to his troops. What do you think? Maybe a little trickery, little tomfoolery here, Pete. When you say, "Hey guys, it's I know there's 11:17 left, but beware of the onside kick."
Possibly. I don't think that's going to happen because both teams have great confidence in their defense, so they'll be satisfied to kick the ball and play the field position game here with 11 minutes to go.
Christensen ready to kick it away. Deep end over end, taking it to 10. Oak trying to get it up the middle, cut out to the left side, finally brought down at about the 28-yard line.
Rob Lane, from his linebacker position, running down on special teams, making a play. That's why he's the Defensive Player of the Year in the Concord District.
And what is funner than being on the kickoff team? You run down there at full speed. If you're in the middle, right? Oh, man, that's the best. That's the best
Carol
feeling in the
Craig
world.
down there talking to his defensive troops, drawing up that Centreville formation, probably making some quick adjustments. Stop Mike Williams in that vaunted Centreville running game.
B.J. Quigley brings the Bruins back out on the field, 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line, passing on 1st down. Gain of about 3 or 4.
Hamilton's little brother, Marcus. You saw Greg Hamilton score the touchdown run. There's Marcus, the sophomore, coming up making a nice tackle on a very speedy Ashley Simmons.
He is dangerous. Myers coming over from his line packing position to add assist on there. So that's what strength does for you. I mean, to look at Myers, it doesn't look like he can run. He's a smaller guy, but you know, you can increase your speed by spending a lot of time in the weight room.
No doubt about it. The other thing that you see is here we are in the 4th quarter, and these guys are still getting after it. That's from all that time in the weight room. You recover quite rapidly.
Neff on about 2nd and 7, straight ahead. Gain of about 1.
There's number 57, Jason Myers, again in on the tackle.
Defending the pass, in there on the tackle.
He's getting his money's worth today.
There you go. Emphasize a lot of leg work in the workout program, squats and what have you.
Right. In fact, the one thing that weight training's kind of changed is, you know, as football coaches, we try to develop the core strength, your hip strength, your quad strength, your hamstring, your glutes, abs, because that's where all your power is generated from.
The biceps are just there for show.
They work on those. Those are to get the girls.
3rd and 5, Quigley rolls out to his right. He's got lots of open field in front of him, and he's got a blocker inside Centreville territory and skates out of bounds at about the 41-yard line.
When we get a replay of that, you'll see what Ryan Neff did to the outside linebacker. Actually, I think it was Jason Myers out there. Again, you get man coverage, and when you break contain, here it is, you'll see it. Bringing the pressure, boots out, he gets outside the contain, and you'll see Jason Myers get up off the ground there. Ryan Neff may have got a piece of him. B.J. Quigley, big scamper down to the 41-yard line of the
Interesting, he
Wildcats.
ran out of bounds, Pete. I thought he had a lot of room, especially following number 30 down the sideline.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to live to play another play.
They mark it at the 42-yard line. Another 1st down for the Bruins. Again, through the quarterback's legs, straight to Neff, and he gets a gain of about 1 on the play.
Direct snap there. The woman you just saw was Mrs. Jones, the guidance director at Lake Braddock, one of Lake Braddock's #1 fans.
She's got the tambourine in the stands out there, and she is screaming and yelling. You know, and you walk around out here, and you look like, well, so there's some empty seats over here, but this place is so big. There's a whole heck of a lot of people out here.
Yeah, we have a great crowd here today.
It's 2nd and 8 for the Bruins. 9 minutes to play in the ball game. 17-14, Bruins on top. Neff trying to get around the right side. Gets it inside the 35 to about the 34.
Ryan Neff, he's defensive back's worst nightmare bouncing out there. I think he got a piece of Marcus Hamilton and also number 10, Joshua Winchester, as he picked up 8 yards on the counter play.
Great job by the right side of the Bruin offensive line. Just collapsed. There you see big 59 in there for the Lake Braddock Bruins.
Fortunate to see him back. He limped out of the game earlier in the game there.
Jeff Eddy, number 59, yep, coming back in here to play. He's going, I may have one good leg, but I'm playing. And of course, right next to him there's Steve Finneran.
3rd and a long 2 for the Bruins. Quigley's trying to go straight ahead, but the Wildcats say no, sir.
Guess who? Jason Myers. I think he just bench pressed B.J. Quigley.
Just couldn't get him out of the way. He shot right through there. There you see number 57 with his back to us here. Right in there on knifing in on 3rd down to throw.
He definitely fills out the uniform,
Yes,
doesn't
he
he?
does. A 3rd and 2, and they get thrown for no gain.
Big
Actually,
down here for Lake Braddock. Up 3 points.
1-yard loss.
Lake Braddock wants a timeout with 7:32 to play in the ball game, up 17-14 and looking at about 4 2.5 yards.
Interesting choice here if you're Francis Stahl. You got a 4th down and 3 situation from the 35-yard line. You've played really pretty good defense. There's 7 minutes to go. Do you punt the ball and try to pin Centreville inside the 10? You know, and play great defense, which is gotten here, or do you try to pick up the 1st down with the chance of giving Centreville the ball in good field position at the 35. Tough decision. Obviously, he's going to go with something that he believes in. If they run an offensive play, I'm sure it'll be something that they know they can get, that they have great confidence in.
Quigley is cool as the underside of a pillow, just looked around. I guess he got the the signal from the sideline, just walked up and said, we're going to take a little time out and talk this thing over. And there you see Quigley along with the brain trust of the Lake Braddock Bruin football team. Quigley, for some, doesn't seem like he gets excited about a whole lot.
You know, you talk about it takes on the demeanor of his head coach. Very calm, very cool. It's 4th and 3. Hey, we've practiced this. We know what we're going to do.
6'3", 170-pound.
Trips formation to the top.
Again, direct snap, and the ball ends up in Oak's hands, and he's stopped, and it'll be Wildcat football.
Great play by Cardell Richardson. I think he may have pulled the ball out, but they're gonna spot it. Again, the direct snap and the little counter play.
You know what's different about high school versus pros and college? The kids make the play, they hug their teammates. They're not out there showboating and pointing and dancing and everything like that, and that's why I like high school football. They run the sidelines, they're hugging each other. They understand it's a team game. You made the play, but so, you had a lot of help.
Wildcats 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. Up across the 40 to about the 38.
Again, you see nice movement by the Centreville offensive line there. Brandon Gleason, number 64, and Justin Bedell. Pick up about 4 yards. That's just what they want to do. Put them in a 2nd and 6 situation.
Hamilton, the ball carrier. The Wildcats have 7:04 left in this game, down by 3. Plenty of time. Williams trying to go around the left side, and I think that would be the definition of a gang tackle.
No question.
We would name all the people who were on that tackle, but it would probably go like 3 or 4 plays down.
Centreville would be back out of the huddle by then. Mike Williams got to be approaching a regional record for carries. I'm sure it's right around 40 carries.
3rd and about 5 now. McElroy looking to throw. Flushed out, it'll be close to the 1st down.
Big hit by Peter Oak and Mark Larrabee for the Bruins. Again, you see the athleticism of Sam McElroy.
Larrabee running down that guy in the open field, huh? 93 was hoofing it, wasn't he?
Now, I saw Mark Larrabee run down one of the Robinson halfbacks last week on a screen pass. For a big man, he can run.
He was moving to catch old McElroy. And once again, the athleticism of McElroy. Guy just normally hands, I'm sorry, Matt. Hands the ball off, nice sprint out there, and picked up the 1st down.
Yep, good enough for the 1st down now at the 47-yard line. Williams looking for some room on the left side, but no go.
Somebody please blow the whistle and help me out. Williams has got to be tired. I mean, that time he didn't look like he had the same spring in his legs he did.
Yeah, I don't think he got the handoff clean. He bobbled that handoff a little bit. He had to make sure he had that before he could right himself and look for a hole.
5:39 to play in the ball game. 17-14. Lake Braddock. Wildcats trying to put together a drive that'll put them on top. On 2nd and 11. McElroy's got his receiver. Got a 1st down. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Centreville Wildcats. Can you believe that?
Great run by Tony Grossman, and it was the same play that we've been seeing, but instead of hitting Gary on the drag, he was able to find Grossman there on the corner route. Here it is, you'll see it. Fake the toss, bootleg out, just corner rack. You see Gary on the drag there, breaks 2 tackles, great piece of running, actually 3 tackles. Wow, big play.
Christensen out.
Blake Johnson, a sophomore. Excuse me, that's not Blake, it's
Christensen with a point after. It is up and it is good. So with
Tony Grossman.
5:19 to play in the ball game, Centreville finally goes on top, 21-17.
And Peter looked like the defensive back for the Bruins. Just he had a little trouble getting over there, fell down. Nice job by McElroy to recognize what was going on, hit him with the passing, and just Grossman.
Well, I think they'd hurt him with that play quite a bit, dumping the ball inside to Gary, and they were able to Obviously, Lake Braddock tried to adjust to that, and that left Grossman open. Of course, you got to give him great credit of breaking 2 tackles. Malone had a chance at him, and Padella, we've seen what great players they are for the Bruins secondary. Obviously, a huge play giving Centreville their first lead up 4 here with 5:19 to go, 21-17.
Well, they say defense wins championships, and if the Wildcats are to successfully defend their Northern Region Championship, it's now up to their defense.
So we go back to the call to go for it on 4th down, right? And that this time it hurt Lake Braddock. Could have pinned them a little bit deeper, maybe a different, play calling to get them where they need to be, and we saw it backfire. And of course, just a great reception and pass by the Centreville Wildcats.
Christensen's kick deep and to the left. This is Oak from the 15-yard line. Cracks it all the way up to about the 25, where the Bruins will take over.
Pete, it seems like they like to take the return up the middle. That's pre-planned.
Yeah, sure, and they have a set return what they want to do. Obviously, it's something that they feel they have success with. You know, we talked about Rob Lane making the tackle on the kickoff. Their time, you saw Cardell Richardson right down there. Put your best players out there making the plays.
Cliff Cradle's up here in the press box looking for our player of the game selections, guys. So let him know who you like if either side wins. 5:13 left in this ball game, and here comes B.J. Quigley out firing. He's got his receiver up across the 30. He moves it up across the 35 to about the 37. Simmons cracks it up enough for a first down.
Yeah, a nice sure tackle there by Marcus Hamilton, which is the key, getting down the speedy Simmons out there in the flat. Get your Papa John pizza, because I tell you what, this is going to be an exciting finish.
1st and 10 now from the 39-yard line for B.J. Quigley and company. Receivers up to the right, one down to the left. He'll come out throwing again, looking down over the middle, looking deep, a little too strong.
Trying to run a deep post pattern, something that Quigley's been very successful to. Number 20 there, Chris Delphin for the Bruins. Some pretty choppy footing there on the field. Looked like Delphin may have lost his footing a little bit.
Clock standing at 5:01 left in this ball game. 21-17, Centreville on top for the first time this afternoon.
Plenty of time for Braddock to run their offense, though.
Quickly flicks it out to the right side. He's got a man, and he's got a gain of about 5 or 6.
Chris Delphin there on a 2nd and 10. Looks like he picked up maybe 7 or 8 actually after he broke the tackle. Little guy, very quick. Again, just trying to move the football downfield.
And he moves it up to about the 47-yard line. Make it 3rd and 3 now for the Bruins.
Pete, you got some competition on the sidelines as far as, animated coaches. I mean, we could do like a whole hour's worth of tape just watching these guys along the sidelines. And that, I think you saw in the background, the whole Centreville coaching staff yelling to the players.
Neff trying to get around the right side. It'll be close to the first down.
Like he dragged a couple of defenders, Rob Lane and Cardell Richardson. You see the strength of Ryan Neff. It's about 400 pounds on his back as he dragged it for the first down. I tell you what, we don't get paid much to coach high school football, but you see the emotion and the time that's spent here, especially when you're playing for the Northern Region prize there. It's a lot of fun, and you see that in the coaches.
The drive stays alive for the Bruins. First down now right at the 50-yard line. 4 minutes to play in the ball game. Quickly to throw and nobody there. Fires it out of bounds.
Great decision. A lot of maturity for a sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, it didn't look like they had a whole lot of people in the pattern. It looked like it was supposed to go to one person and one person alone. And the play wasn't there and quickly threw it away.
Yeah, interesting though, if you saw the defensive front, Centreville backed alpha there, just brought 4 guys, put some people in coverage, rolled up their coverage on Simmons there, probably played a bandit coverage where he's getting help over top. Definitely man up.
2 receivers to the left, 1 up to the right for Quigley on 2nd and 10. They run it straight ahead, gain of about a couple.
Probably a pretty good call on Lake Braddock's part again. Centreville backed off more in a coverage type scheme and turned and hand the ball to Neff. It didn't work that way, obviously. Rob Lane in on the stop.
Door in there on the bottom, so you got to give it to those guys. There were, 4 against 6.
Wind picking up a little bit more here in the late going. The sun is tucked behind the clouds. The lights are on here at Cunningham Stadium, and we've got 3:20 to play in this ball game. Quickly on 3rd and about 7. Halfback pass, going deep. Simmons had the coverage fooled, but the pass falls incomplete, out of bounds.
Number 7, Garrick Evans. I had the tape of the Centreville Lake Braddock game. We played Lake Braddock's 3rd game of the season. Here you'll see it. It's a play they actually ran in the first game against him, headed for about a 45-yard pass. Good chance to take there. Obviously throw it down there. And he has a very good arm, throw it into the wind. Obviously he hit kind of a floater.
Huge play here, Matthew.
4th and 8 for the Bruins. 3:07 to play in the ball game. Down 21-17. And they stuff them right at the line, and the Wildcats will take over at their own 47-yard line.
Just a straight drive there to Matt Uffin, hoping to pop through. I think big Carl Dorr, who's played his heart out today, was in on the stop there for the Wildcats.
Mr. Carl Dorr, owner of the dirtiest shirt on the field next to Mike Williams.
No question.
And there you see the Centreville Wildcats. Everybody's happy. They're going crazy. 3 minutes left here, Matt.
It's not over. You got Braddock, I believe, has all 3 of their timeouts. Obviously, you got to get a good stop. Use your timeouts right now to conserve the clock. You know Centreville's going to run the football.
Spoken like a true football coach.
Williams on the right side, gain of about 2, gets it up to the 50-yard line, and Lake Braddock, of course, wants a timeout.
Ernest Hunter on the stop. You know, if you stop him 3 plays and out here, you get the ball back with probably 2 minutes to go, probably a little more than that. Obviously, you need 1 score.
So defensively, you're gambling. Lake Braddock has taken a timeout. You got the defensive coach out there talking to the guys. I mean, they're just taking chances. They're doing the Centreville thing where they're run blitzing, sending people.
No question. And you got Chris Cotter, who's in there in the offensive huddle for Centreville, and he's telling them one thing, guys, we get a first down, bleed all their timeouts, it's our football game, we're regional champs. If they've got some guts, maybe the play action pass, but you risk an interception or stopping the clock there. I can't imagine they won't turn and hand the ball to their 2 big backs there, Mike Williams and Greg Hamilton, or a bootleg with McElroy, which would eat some time. But he's telling them 2 hands on the ball and stay inbounds.
And how appropriate. We talked about this being like a heavyweight fight, and the Centreville band over there is playing the theme from Rocky. Very appropriate the way the Wildcats have hung in there and now taken the lead with 2:54 to play in this ball game.
Pete's looking at his watch, man. It must be close to time.
Williams around the left side. He's got lots of room, but quickly corralled and dropped at the 45.
Adam Brown, number 41 for the Bruins. Again, you saw a great heads-up play by Mike Williams. Could have run for the corner there, tried to get what he could get, maybe get knocked out of bounds, but he pulled up. Clock keeps running. Looks like Braddock did spend their time out here.
Cotter with a nice call on offense, right? Little counter punch. They're doing the Rocky thing, right? He kind of figured that, right? They're coming back. What are we going to do? Are we going to run in the middle? No.
Run wide, takes a little longer to develop, run a little more clock, a little more time off the clock. Again, good decision, but Braddock's where they want to be. It's 3rd down. If they can stop him here, get the ball back. They won't have many timeouts, but they'll still have over two minutes to get a chance to get that score.
Got the big foot of Chris Hall, though, with Centreville. So I'd imagine coming after the punt, Pete, a couple plays down the road here.
Sure. And again, definitely, if you're Centreville or Braddock, you put the game into the hands of your defense. If Centreville doesn't pick up the first down, we'll punt the ball down there and play defense.
Third and about 3.5 now for the Centreville Wildcats. 2:43 remaining in this ball game.
The winner of this game
21-17.
goes down next Saturday and plays Varina in the Richmond area next Saturday at 1:30.
Williams straight ahead, not going to get the first down.
Great stand by the Lake Braddock Bruin defense.
Okay, they're not going to waste their if they have another timeout. I'm not sure that they do. Clock's running 2:29.
In there on the bottom of the pile, Adam Moore. 205-pounder for the Lake Braddock Bruins.
I believe Centreville's going to take a penalty here, run the clock all the way down. Bleed as much time off the clock as they can.
Lake Braddock quickly shuffles in.
Yeah, I think that's just Centreville left their offense on the field here. They're going to take a delay.
So the Bruins stuck the punt team in, right? And then they watched as Centreville runs down the clock, and then the Bruins put their defense back on.
So the clock stops now with 1:52 to play in the game as they will assess the delay of game penalty against the Wildcats.
Definitely now a punting situation for the Wildcats.
Give some credit up front to the guys in white over there. Open up those holes for Will Montgomery, number 78. Also Curtis Lewis, Justin Bedell, Brennan Gleason, the center for the Centreville Wildcats.
They've been outstanding all year for Centreville. It's no secret that they're playing for the regional championship. See Chris Delphin down on his own 15, awaiting the punt.
Delphin, the lone return man back for the Bruins. Good snap, nice kick. Delphin has to range over to his right. Oh, nice bounce inside the 10, takes it at the 8. Swung out of bounds and dropped at about the 15.
Tony Grossman, who had the big touchdown catch, hustling down on special teams. Also number 78, Will Montgomery, taking that big rangy body down there trying to catch Chris Delphin. Did a great job.
Grossman did it before down here. We saw him on our side of the field, coming down as an end, not letting anybody get outside. Did a good job again, tackling the punt returner, not allowing him to turn the corner.
Lake Braddock Bruins have 1 minute 40 seconds left in this contest. Down by 4. Quickly comes out firing on first down. Got Delphin. They hustle him out of bounds at about the 31. Enough for a first down.
And what you're seeing is Centreville playing a soft 2-deep zone, but manning up underneath, willing to give up the short stuff underneath, just preventing the home run ball here. As Braddock's got 70 yards to go with about 1:34 to go.
Great job, great execution by these guys. Quickly threw the ball before the wide receiver was open. Perfect pass by Quickly, who is still a 10th grader and looks like he's walking up there like his head by 30.
First and 10 from their own 30. Quickly with a little screen over the middle. This is Neff.
Great recovery by Rob Lane there. Nice play. A hurry-up offense. Here we go.
Lane showing another facet of his ability, running down Neff.
2nd and 4 now for the Bruins. Clock rolling along. 1:13 left in the game. Quigley gets it out to Delphin this time, and he accomplishes the goal of getting out of bounds and stopping the clock at 1:07.
Nice long throw by Quigley out to the sideline. Delphin catching the ball and very heads up, getting out of bounds. Picks up a first down. We're still in business. As I told you, this one's going to go down to the final snap, I'm sure.
This is great because it's just great to see this, the Bruins are behind. This is not their game, playing from behind, not throwing the football. And Quigley's out there winging the ball like he throws 30 or 40 passes a game.
The interesting thing to remember, the first time they met, Lake Braddock went 70 yards with about a minute to go to win the football game, 15-12.
Again, they get the ball into the hands of Neff, and he gets it up to the midfield stripe.
Big tackle there by Marcus Hamilton, keeping the Neff in bounds. Clock's running, 50 seconds and moving.
Hamilton talking a little bit, was pulled off the ball carrier by Skinner.
Quickly fires it out of bounds, and so it stops the clock with 36 seconds to play in this ball game. We're going to make a real quick tape change. We'll be right back. Quickly on 3rd down, didn't miss a thing. Fires it to Simmons over the middle, and it's knocked down.
What a great play by sophomore Marcus Hamilton. And one thing you see there, he's a sophomore, but Coach Skinner has great confidence in him, putting him on their top receiver. Just a post pattern here. Little switch route, actually. Trying to rub the two defenders off. Great play. If he doesn't put a hand on that, that's probably 6 for Lake Braddock.
Just a great defensive play by Hamilton in a big situation. if you're getting beat, if you're a Centreville guy, you're getting beat, you tell your people to hold on to the guy, get the penalty, because it's only 15 yards right in high school.
4th down for the Bruins. Quickly down the right side. Ball's incomplete.
Wow, what an exciting ball game, and looks like we're going to have with no timeout, Centreville will be able to sit on the ball and enjoy their 2nd consecutive Division VI Northern Region Championship.
27 seconds left on this clock that the Wildcats have to wild away.
Just down in the victory formation here for the Wildcats. Somebody made that sign up in advance, obviously.
Either that or it's left over from last year. Wildcats into their genuflect offense. Clock rolling along now. 17 seconds left in the game.
And that should do it. An outstanding season for Lake Braddock. 11-0 coming into the game. Francis Stahl's final season as the head coach at Lake Braddock. Certainly, Northern Region football is a lot better because of Francis Stahl and his Lake Braddock Bruins. And our hats are off to the Mike Skinner and his Centreville Wildcats, Northern Region champions.
The clock hits triple zeros, and the Centreville Wildcats are the 1999 Northern Region champs. Stick around. Cliff Cradle is rounding up our player of the game. He'll have that post-game interview in just a second.
Pete and Matt, kind of ironic. The Centreville Wildcats, right, expecting Dan Folio to coach this year, began their season with loads of controversy, and here they are. They made it all the way, right? They're the region champs.
But one thing I want to say is I think it was probably the basketball season last year. I said to Pete Bendorf, so who's the team to beat next year? And he said, I think it's Centreville all over again. And sure enough, here they are.
You think this guy sitting to the left of us knows what he's doing? Huh?
Yeah, no, they'll probably be the team to beat again next year. Actually, Lake Braddock's got a great young squad, and can't say enough, like I said, about Lake Braddock and Francis Stahl. They've had a banner year, but a lot of resolve on the Centreville kids. They went through a lot of adversity, and sometimes that makes us winning those championships that much better. Obviously, the coaching change, an unfortunate situation. Dan Folio is a class guy all the way. He wasn't able to coach this year, and Mike Skinner took over, and they rallied together and did a great job, and obviously came back and won the regional championship. Had a setback at the beginning of the year, lost 15-12 to this Lake Braddock squad here, but they rebounded and did a great job and are very deserving of representing the Northern Region next week in the state semifinals down in Richmond.
Hats off to the guys along the Centreville offensive line, who we don't mention enough, but you can see them. They're the guys with the dirtiest. They're actually the most tired guys on the field. They're kind of walking. Everybody else is kind of having a great time.
Take a look what you're talking about. We got Carl Dora on all fours down there trying to drink water at midfield. Just has spilled his guts out for Centreville and his teammates, and it's a great example of what you're talking about.
Left tackle Curtis Lewis, left guard Will Montgomery, Brendan Gleason, the center, Justin Bedell, and Carl Dora, number 66. Both ways against a tough, big Lake Braddock Bruin football team. And Concord District is finally getting the respect they deserve, huh, Pete? What do you think?
There's a lot of good football, and the Patriot District plays great football from top to bottom. There's good teams in the Concord, and obviously, we're proud of the tradition. We had South Lakes playing for the regional championship in the Division 5 last night, and they had a great season. But there's good football played throughout Northern Virginia, and it's hard to split these teams. It was a 3-point Braddock win the first time they played, and a 4-point Centreville win the second time they played. It's great high school football.
Coach Skinner's going to have a few words with his Northern Region champ squad, and then Cliff Cradle's going to collar him, and our player of the game will pull him over for the post-game interview. And
so if anybody watching the game here on Saturday and you kind of turned in late, we're shown again on Sunday at 7 o'clock. Is that right, Matt?
Correctamundo.
And then if you haven't seen a high school football game and you don't mind traveling a little bit, Centreville is going down to
Varina.
And they'll play down. That's just outside of Richmond. Also, the division. Here, let's do the trophy presentation. That's Miss Pam Lapp, the principal of Northern Virginia, the principal of Centreville, and I believe she's chairman of the Northern Region Council.
I think she's getting ready to give the runners-up trophy over there to the Lake Braddock Bruins. Here comes Francis Dahl and his squad.
Francis Dahl originally started coaching down in Albemarle County with his buddy for over there at Fairfax, Tom Verbanek. Dahl then went to Fairfax, I believe, and then from Fairfax to Lake Braddock. And now he's going to be the athletic director at, they call it, what, West County?
It's the
right
West
now?
County site. They haven't named the school yet. I will tell you, the Lake Braddock kids have nothing to be ashamed of. That runner-up trophy is not what you want, and I can tell you we accepted that last year at Oakton as we got beat by Centreville. It's nothing you can say or do right now. After a couple days, they'll feel better about what they've accomplished this year, and they've had a great season. And obviously for Centreville, they're back where they want to be in the state playoffs.
But aren't there like 30 other teams that would love to be picking up that second place trophy right now?
There's no question. And at this point, it doesn't seem like much, but it's a great honor.
Second place in the Northern Region and an undefeated regular season, slugging their way through the Godzilla District. Nothing to hang your head about.
So do you think that by any chance the high school that Francis Dahl is going to out there in West, do you think it's going to be named Varina?
Where are you going with that there, Jake? Yes, Cliff Cradle is down on the field, and yes, he is rounding up Coach Skinner and our player of the game, so hang in here with us.
All I'm saying is that there should be some guy from the, from the Civil War who they can name a high school after, right? I mean, there's a couple, probably, let's do another, Jackson or Taylor or something like that.
Henry Lightfoot Lee or whatever.
General.
That would be the Revolutionary War.
What the heck.
See Mike Skinner making his way over here to the sideline. Mike's done a great job. Hats off to him and his staff.
Yeah, Centreville High School compared to Oakton High School as far as size is concerned, Pete, about the same size?
No, Centreville's actually they're probably at this point the biggest school in Northern Virginia. Almost 3,000 students, and that's the purpose of opening the new school.
Cliff Cradle's got Coach Skinner on the sideline. Let's go down to Cliff.
Thanks, guys. I'm down on the sidelines here with Centreville winning coach Mike Skinner. Mike, wow, what a football game.
At halftime, we told the kids it was going to be a great second half. We asked them to give us the 24 best minutes, and Sam McElroy, our quarterback, that's the best he's ever played for us, and he played tremendous. Tony Grossman comes up with a big catch. Our kids play with heart, and so do the Braddock kids. That's probably the best high school football game I've ever coached in.
What did you tell your kids? The first play of the half, in the third quarter, Lake Braddock scored. What was your feelings then? Do you still think you ran it, or was your confidence shaken?
All we just told the kids when they came to the sideline is keep banging, keep pecking away, and hopefully good things will happen. And we got some breaks, and they did.
Congratulations. Good luck next week.
Thank you. For sure.
All right, guys. I'm down here with the Strong Arm High School Sports MVP, Mike Williams. Mike, congratulations on a great game. Tell me about it.
I don't know. It was just a good game. I mean, we knew it was going to be close at the beginning, and we knew coming out in the second half that we were going to have to step it up in order to win, because that was a good team. Good defense and a good offense.
Was your confidence shaken when, after the first play of the third quarter, they scored? Were you kind of worried that it was going to be an insurmountable deficit?
Not really. We could feel the momentum shifting a little bit, but the offense knew that we had to step it up and make some plays in order to stay in this game or win this game. So.
Okay, well, here's your free T-shirt at the High School Sports MVP, Strong Arm High School Sports. Congratulations on a great game. Good luck next week. Guys, back upstairs to you. Thanks, buddy.
Centreville Wildcats defend their crown successfully.
I don't know. I think if this time last year, if I had to pick a team who would be here this year, it wouldn't be the Centreville Wildcats. But lo and behold, now I think, like I said before, I think people are saying, okay, you got Oakton, you got Chantilly, you got Centreville out there in the Concord District. Everybody always thought the Patriot District was where the toughest, the best football in Northern Virginia was being played, but I think the pendulum's swinging out west there.
Possibly. I mean, you got the bigger schools starting to grow out west, and we're going to open a new school which will, it's going to take kids from Chantilly and Centreville and Oakton High School and reduce their numbers a little bit. So there'll be a little bit of shift in power. But there's great football played over in the Patriot District, and again, you know, you played the Centreville Lake Braddock game has been played twice, and Braddock won by 3 the first time, and Centreville wins by 4 the second time. Who's to say who's the better team? Obviously today Centreville was. Hats off to them, they're regional champs, but on any given day, who knows? There's a lot of good football teams in Northern Virginia.
Matthew, your thoughts? I know, I want to stick you with one. The one thing I wanted to say is that when Lake Braddock went up, Centreville never even, you know, because usually you can tell the momentum swings, the kids kind of drop their heads a little bit, and it's like, oh man, we're fighting an uphill battle. Never did I see that in any of the Centreville kids. They just said, hey, this is just part of the game. We've done this before. We can do it again.
Centreville's been in the regional championship game 3 years in a row.